Chapter 12. Fragile Alliances. The storm outside the city mirrored the tension within Anna Petrov's estate. The grand dining room, once a place of opulence and power, now bore the weight of unease as the wives convened again. The flickering light of a chandelier danced across their faces, casting shadows that mirrored the fractures in their unity. Anna stood at the head of the table, her commanding presence masking the weariness beneath. Radcliffe's network is unraveling, but it's not enough. She's escalating, and we need to be ready. Maria Gonzalez sat back in her chair, her arms crossed. And how do you suggest we do that? Every move we make, she counters. She's not just reacting anymore, she's anticipating. Sophia Russo's voice was quieter, hesitant. If we keep pushing, we might make her desperate. Desperate people are dangerous. Laura Williams's expression was unreadable as she leaned forward. Desperate people also make mistakes. If we're smart, we can use that. Anna nodded, her gaze sweeping the room. Then we need to exploit every crack in her armor. Maria, continue following the money. Sophia, keep your contacts on edge. Laura, surveillance remains our best weapon. Maria's gamble. Maria's investigation into Radcliffe's finances led her to an underground charity event, a facade for laundering money through Radcliffe's network. Dressed in an elegant black gown, Maria blended seamlessly with the elite crowd. She approached one of the event organizers, a man whose name she had uncovered in Radcliffe's files. Lovely event, she said, her tone warm but her gaze sharp. The man's smile faltered under her scrutiny. We aim to please. And you are? Maria Gonzalez, she replied smoothly. And I think you and I have mutual interests. His eyes narrowed. I'm not sure what you mean. Maria leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. You're laundering money for Radcliffe, and I'm here to make sure you stop. The man's face paled, but Maria's smile didn't waver. She slipped him a business card. Call me when you're ready to talk. Trust me, it'll be better than waiting for her to turn on you. Sophia's misstep. Sophia met with her journalist ally in a quiet corner of a bustling cafe. The file she handed him contained misinformation she hoped would destabilize Radcliffe's network. But as she watched him flip through the pages, doubt gnawed at her. Are you sure about this? He asked, his voice low. If this backfires, it'll bring more heat on you. Sophia's hands trembled slightly. It won't backfire, it can't. Her conviction faltered when she noticed a man in the corner watching them. His casual demeanor did little to mask his intent. Sophia's heart raced as she realized she'd been followed. She rose abruptly, forcing a smile. I have to go. You know what to do. As she exited the cafe, her phone buzzed with a text. Careful, Sophia. You're playing with fire. Laura's discovery. Laura sat in a darkened room, her laptop casting a faint glow. She sifted through surveillance footage from a safe house she'd identified as one of Radcliffe's key locations. Hours of monotonous footage yielded little, until she spotted a familiar face. One of Radcliffe's operatives was meeting with someone Laura recognized, Rebecca Stanton, Anna's former confidant. Laura's jaw tightened as she rewound the footage, her mind racing. If Stanton was working with Radcliffe, their entire operation was compromised. She copied the footage to a drive and picked up her phone. Anna, she said when the call connected, we have a problem, a big one. The confrontation. The wives gathered again in Anna's study, the atmosphere charged with urgency. Laura placed the footage on the table, the grainy images of Rebecca Stanton playing on the screen. She's working with Radcliffe, Laura said bluntly. Everything we've done could be compromised. Maria's fists clenched. I knew she couldn't be trusted. Sophia's voice was hesitant. Are we sure? Maybe there's another explanation. Anna's expression was unreadable as she watched the footage. When it ended, she leaned back in her chair, her fingers steepled. It doesn't matter why she's doing it. What matters is stopping her. Laura nodded. I'll track her movements, find out where she's meeting Radcliffe next. Anna's gaze was steely. Good. And when you do, we'll make sure she never betrays us again. Radcliffe's countermove. Helen Radcliffe sat in a dimly lit office, her eyes scanning a report from one of her operatives. The wives were closing in, but Radcliffe was already several moves ahead. "Increase the pressure," she ordered. "Target their allies, their families. Make them question everyone they trust." Her operative hesitated. "And Stanton?" Radcliffe's lips curved into a cold smile. "Keep her close. She's useful. For now." The fracture. As the storm raged outside, the wives remained in Anna's study, their fragile alliance showing signs of strain. Maria's suspicions, Sophia's missteps, and Laura's discovery had created cracks that even Anna's leadership couldn't fully mend. "If we don't stick together," Anna said, her voice firm, "Radcliffe wins, and none of us can afford that." The room fell silent, the weight of her words settling over them. For now, their unity held. But as the storm outside grew fiercer, so too did the storm within.